What do we know about the devastation of Gaza?
Yeah, and that is perhaps the number one question, Francine, in not just the weeks, but the months, years to follow, and whether there can be a viable potential future Palestinian state. It wasn't explicitly referenced in the 20-point plan, but there is a line about creating a pathway towards a potential Palestinian state. Of immediate concern, though, right now, I would say, is the scale of the humanitarian assistance. And since the beginning of the war, about 460 deaths can be attributed to famine per the UN. And the UN has said that they are on standby to start delivering aid. The issue is not the availability of aid, but actually getting the aid to the people that need it. And so the next couple of days, you are going to see a massive focus from the international community, the likes of President Macron, saying that there needs to be a gathering to discuss that particular point, humanitarian assistance, and also how it's going to be administered. One of the perhaps more controversial crossings is the Rafah crossings. The Italian foreign minister says that they're moving towards opening it in the next 24 hours to ensure that that aid does go unhindered and not blocked as it starts heading towards the Gaza enclave, where it is much needed. And the UN also say that they're sitting ready to distribute about 180,000 tons of supplies, medical supplies, food, also water, and then access to shelter and safe homes for many of those Palestinians who are returning to their homes to find that they no longer exist. The latest estimates point to about 90% of the Gaza Strip being uninhabitable. So these are, again, huge questions, and it's difficult to foresee a future and a long-lasting peace unless you have the conditions on the ground that allow for the Palestinians to eat and get access to the humanitarian assistance that is much, much needed. At the same time, I think one of the other big questions is what exactly happens to Hamas. There were reports over the weekend that Hamas security officials were patrolling various parts of Gaza and exacting retribution on Palestinians who they think were allying themselves too closely with the Israeli forces. So all of that is happening in the background. Hamas officials have said that they're willing to accept that they may not have a role in the future governance of Gaza, but at the same time, there has been resistance to put down their arms so long as IDF still control more than 50% of the Gaza enclave. So we're still at a point where there's a lot of daylight between the two sides. And I think this is going to be the big challenge for President Trump, for the Arab leaders, for the international community, to break through that stalemate and get to a position that actually is acceptable for both, and one that promotes security in the region, regional security, and one where ultimately these two peoples can actually work together towards living side by side.